Deep, deep beneath the earth, there's a place where darkness stretches into realms yet undiscovered. Reality shifts and its edges blur, creating new spaces and realms. One of these realms is known as the Below, the Night World, or simply the Underdark, for the sun never reaches this pitch-black place. Beneath the sky, which consists of a rocky ceiling that puts even the biggest caves to shame, there are waves of viscous, dark water lapping at the shore of few and small islands. These islands are the only dots of inhabitable land within the large ocean, the Black Sea. The biggest one of these islands might have been earth and rock once, but now it consists of metal and concrete, a city bigger than even the great capitals of the lands above. Illuminated only by the white, harsh light of magical lamps, the City of Shadows is home to many folk. Our three protagonists should be wary though, as a single false step in the City of Shadows can plunge you into the dark forever, just as well as one right move can rise you above the rest. A delicate net of intrigue, desire and death weaves all across the city, connecting criminals, civilians and nobles alike. Everyone has to find their place in it. Everyone needs to learn to navigate this treacherous maze. Can you do it? Or will we die alone and forgotten?
Evening, little dove. The name's Sahir Marlowe, and I'll be ferrying your ass and all your shit across the Black Sea this evening. Mind your fingers and toes, keep 'em in the boat, and for Rapta's sake, don't go leaning over the water. See, the waves hide terrible secrets from those that travel the surface. Not much unlike Sahani, the City of Shadows, yeah? You see, little dove, there's all sorts of things to discover in the city, if you know where and how to find them. Me? I'm just a gondolier, nothing special. Yeah, that's what I tell everyone, even if they don't believe me. See, I specialize in being ordinary. Been that way for a long time. I grew up in a group home, the old Soft Touch orphanage in the Silk Scarf district. Growing up was tough, yeah. Working in the textile mills, avoiding the gang wars in the streets, hard lessons from the instructors in the home. There wasn't any time to lament our situation, though. Well, not for most of the kids. I might have been upset, but I earned my way out. See, some wealthy madam stopped by the house one afternoon, claiming to be related to me or something. I eyed her suspiciously, went along with it, though. If it meant getting out of the home, I was game. I followed her around for a few days, and one evening, while she was sleeping, I took off with whatever valuables I could carry in my pockets and snuck off. These days, I don't really take valuables off folks, but information. Speaking of which, what's in the cargo, eh? Don't look so worried. I'm harmless. No secret ever passes these lips. Unless the price is right.
I've seen you before, I think, lingering on your way past the shop. I'm glad you've come in. The arrangements out front are pale shades of what you find in here. And nothing beats one of our custom creations. A bouquet of my own. You flatter me, but I'll not turn it down. There's a language in flowers, you know. I've made enough lovers' tokens and funeral wreaths to tell you that even without knowing why, people quite often like to tell a story with their choices. A daisy here for innocence, a sprig of gladiolus there for remembrance. It won't be one of those ostentatious ones you see delivered up to the parties and cafes in Cleargarden. So, let's say a bit of hollyhock and lavender for height, some sweet peas, and perhaps some butterfly weed near the hands. There's color, but you wouldn't think it much to look at, no? But see here, wrapped in the ribbon, a message for those skilled enough to read it. Yes, metaphorically and literally, For you see, that is where you'll find a note for your master. I know who you serve, and have been expecting you for some time. Here, have a bit of forget-me-not before you go. A bright spot of blue against the dark of the city, to keep you on your way.
Hush, little one, for you are safe here in my garden. Who are you, you must be wondering? Well, I am Bronard Denul of the great house Sif, but please do call me Broden. To answer the unasked question, no, I cannot see you. Not directly. However, that is because the natural magics of the world are still at work within me. I've always possessed a certain amount of magic, as demonstrated by the dragon mark of healing that wraps around my horns. A mighty gift bestowed to the members of my house, a gift I was nearly denied when my father was executed for planned crimes against the Night Queen. After that event, I withdrew from the affairs of the house and dedicated myself to this garden. I chose a life of isolation, only leaving to acquire new plants to grow here. But I did not remain isolated. One day I was approached while placing an order for a new flower bush, a group interested in the potential use of gardening to reshape the City of Shadow so that no one would ever go hungry again. I was fooled for a time until my now friend Sahir stopped me and showed me what their true ambition was. I abandoned that group, but they had planted the seeds of an idea. Perhaps I can reshape the City of Shadow through my gardens after all.
Hi, and welcome to this, our ninth and final episode as Swapper fires me for being super bad at counting. Swapper, can't take it away.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, no. It's the count I just got for everybody else. Hello and welcome to session 9 of City of Shadows Alignment. I am Swapper, I will be your GM today, and with me I have Eva, who failed, and you. Come on, you can do it. Are playing.
Are you looking at me, or are you skipping over me because I failed?
Yeah, I did specifically say your name.
You did,
so.
but I thought you were skipping over me because... Anyway, yes, hi.
No, I'm not.
I'm Eva, who
I won't spare you.
has double failed. This is my channel for the next 2 minutes. And I'm just going to throw out really quick that we don't have overlays up for this game or any in-game incentives, but we do, all month, we are raising money for St. Jude. So there's always the exclamation point St. Jude command. Okay, that's it. That's me. Please, God, someone else take it away.
Hi, I'm Wren, and I'm going to take this away from Eva so that they don't feel as self-conscious about how things are going. Today, I will be playing the role of Sahir, who is definitely not turning into some sort of crazy vampire or something. I really don't know, people. This is just all completely beyond my ken. Am I supposed to say anything else? No? All right. Your turn, Raven.
Hi, I'm Raven. I play the Druid, who may or may not be responsible for the events that are happening in the city right now. I will neither confirm nor deny that it is my fault.
I might. Anyway, things have happened, as was hinted at by Raven. And today it is actually not Raven who's doing the recap, as somebody else stepped up. This somebody else being Eva, so I don't know how well this is going to go. It's fine, I'm mean to everybody. Eva, would you like to take it away?
It's
With it, I
fine.
mean, actually.
We. Thank you, Red. We started last time with Mercy and Sahir heading towards Broden's estate. I don't even think we tried going in the front gate. I think we just decided to go over the wall just for the heck of it. Which we did successfully. Broden, meanwhile, was having a lovely chat with their mother about politics, I guess. Not really my thing at this point, at least not in the depth that they were discussing. But the idea was floated that maybe the answer to our arboreal zombie situation maybe would be to collect up a circle of druids, which seems pretty reasonable. Sahir and M wait outside for most of that conversation. I'm not saying M eavesdropped a little bit or a lot of it, but maybe did. Broden has a lot of political aspirations, y'all. And I'm also realizing I'm not doing this in any sort of character voice, but that's fine. You just wanted the recap. It's cool. Ambitious is one word, and I feel like we're going to have a strong conversation about that at some point. A few other things on our plate at the moment. That's fine. Mostly breaking up the Night Queen's monopoly on everything, which I'm not against, honestly, but... So we have options. We are recommended to Lady Orleana Morbe, I believe. That's what I wrote down. And also, I believe, Moira? So, we depart the estate, and we get pretty far before we end up in a kind of trashed part of town. I'm not saying we looted a store or anything. It was already looted when we got there, so we were just like helping. Maybe some zombies were alerted to our presence somehow. We don't know how. Maybe we were a little loud. Hard to say. We were going to make our escape from the upstairs, like out across the rooftops, which is where we are at the moment. Broden is, I believe, up on the roof, and M is waiting by the balcony. Sahir went to just do one last scope around the bedroom, and I haven't seen them since. So, out of character, they're in a mirror, fighting with themselves, which is probably fine for a vampire. It's fine. I believe that's where we are.
This is indeed where you are. Take your d6 of inspiration. And we will... Actually, yeah. Let's continue with Broden and M for a second, as you are all now on the rooftop, if I recall correctly. And you haven't heard from Sahir in a few minutes, which, you know, it's fine. They were looting something. There is a suspicious lack of noise and a suspicious lack of Sahir below you. What are you doing?
Can we see the approaching line of zombies or cluster or whatever is closest to us?
Yes, that is quite easy now that you're in an elevated position. This roof is mostly flat. It has a small dome-like structure thing on it, but that's mostly just decor. And so you just walk around, you can see the zombies are almost rolling in this wave. They thin out as they kind of move through the streets and kind of split up in smaller groups. But they will reach you and your particular building quite soon. We're talking combat rounds soon.
And when I was coerced into knocking open the door to the upstairs, did it come completely off its hinges, or did it just come out of did it just open?
The lock was splintered, so
Right.
It didn't come off its hinges. It's open now, in a very irreversible way.
Return to the room and close it and push something in front of it.
Can we block the stairs? Leaving us access to the balcony, maybe?
We would still have access to the balcony. It's just there was a door at the top of the stairs that we could just
Yeah.
move something heavy behind.
You could do that.
Yeah, I don't know where they went.
We might want to take a look for Sahir. Just like, hey, hurry up. I don't know what you found.
Are you climbing down again?
I would say yes.
As we already
down
established,
the
it's
balcony,
quite
yeah.
an easy climb. It just takes a bit of time, especially for Frodo. But there is no chance of failure. I mean, there is always a small chance of failure, but unless you're being particularly stupid, you manage to climb down. The inside of the house looks both looted by you, as well as entirely devoid of Sahir. The only thing you see is the door that kind of swings in its hinges due to kind of being a bit broken. It's not just the lock that you knocked out, it's basically not as stable anymore as it once was.
Can it be pushed back into place, though?
Yes, it can. It won't be as stable as a normal functioning door would.
What happened to have No, I don't.
Nope.
And the walls, I assume, are made of wood? Not,
The walls are
say,
made of wood, yes.
stone? Okay. Can't use mold earth either. Yeah, so I guess, is there like a large dresser, a cabinet, something that can be just pushed in front of the door to keep it in place? And also...
Yes. Incidentally, there is a very large dresser with its doors open. One of the doors is a vanity mirror. You could push that in front of the door.
Just for the sake of player knowledge, isn't that the mirror that
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Not that Broden would know that. So I guess...
There's also... I don't want to goad you into doing that, because there's also a bed and there's also smaller
Yes.
cabinets.
thinking
But it is definitely
head
the
first,
largest
dresser
piece of
with my
furniture.
friend in it. Second. Does it look like we could move the bed?
I mean, yeah, not silently so. You'd have to basically pull it and it would scrape across the floor and so on. But maybe, if you're skillful enough, you could move it in front of the door. Fast enough, mind you, because at this point the zombies are almost at the building. You can hear some of them in the distance.
I would like to...
Would you care to assist me?
I was just going to say, and would be
assisting the die roll.
Yeah.
Alright, give me an athletics check, please. Which one are you moving, the bed or the dresser? The bed looks easier, the dresser looks sturdier.
Bed first, then dresser.
Ooh, okay, give me 2 separate checks then. First one for the bed, please.
And it's because I have assistance, it's advantage.
Yes.
14 total for the bed.
Alright. So you do manage to move it, however, it is not a silent affair. The bed screeches along the floorboards, and you kind of get it caught on one of them, and you have to yank it, and then kind of move around, pick it up so that it doesn't get hooked on the floorboards, and finally you push it in front of the door, just in time to hear the first sounds of what sounds like maybe vases crashing to the floor and clumsy feet at the bottom of the staircase.
Out for the dresser.
Coming upstairs. Now for the dresser.
See, no one's gonna know we were here. It's fine.
It's fine.
You and I have very different definitions of what should be fine. $20 total. That was a natural one, followed by 19.
This time there's no pesky floorboard to hinder you, so you actually just go to the left side of the dresser and push with all your minotaur strength until you kind of topple it over the bed and create just a barrier of 2 pieces of furniture kind of entangled in one another. And incidentally, also leave the door side of the dresser towards the apartment so that it basically just dangles and then just rests there with the mirror pointing inside of the cabinet. Dresser, sorry. So,
To be clear, nothing of any monetary interest inside that dresser anymore.
no, Sahir was quite thorough on that one. You do see a small safe that has been very obviously opened, you presume by Sahir, because it wasn't open before. So, the 2 of you stand in front of your newly erected barricade, and it is then that the door is being assaulted by very obviously undead. As you were not exactly stealthy, you made a lot of noise, and you can just hear the snarling behind the door, and you actually can see some very pale fingers, sometimes even skeletal, crashing through the door. Just imagine The Shining. Here's Johnny. Basically that, just with zombies. And on that lovely picture, let us get back into a world of reflections where every mirror cuts deep into your psyche and there is no up and down. So here, you have attempted to throw your dagger after your reflection twin, whatever it is, but it dodged, cackled, and then went to run away. What is it that you want to do?
Oh yeah, that sounds like something that I do. Well, I'm looking around. Is there like a pathway? Am I just kind of standing in a nebulous amount of gray, shiny space, or what?
Give me an intelligence check, please.
That's going to be an 18.
All right. Interesting. Could you please give me a wisdom saving throw?
Wisdom save and throw. That's a 9.
A 9. Perfect. So, you actually do find a path. The mirrors seem to realign with your vision, and you find a direct path to this creature that masquerades around with your face. And suddenly you're gripped by vertigo, and you kind of try to attempt to withstand it, just on pure instinct. However, you fail, and this is not necessarily a bad thing, as you fall land on your feet, and right next to you, your reflection gives a bit of a shocked look, actually, as you appear right next to it. Oh, so you can traverse it. And it will try to swipe your legs out from under you. What's your AC? 14. All right. It does manage to do that as you just fall to the ground in a very weird way. As you know, there is no ground here, so you just basically tumble around in an empty space, and you hear them. But that was its round. It is still right next to you.
It's still in. So I'm basically like, sort of. I'm parallel to a non-existent floor, essentially.
Yes.
All right, great. I love it. And I'm gonna look up at this approximation of myself, and I'm just simply going to ask, where the hell is this? Who the hell are you? And why? This is so stupid. How the hell were you in a mirror reflection? And I'm going to try and knock it down as well.
Ooh, so just from the ground. All right.
Yeah.
So I guess you'd have the same. So for the purpose of this combat, please just give me an attack roll when you try to do this, as any attack would basically. The damage numbers don't really matter here. It's more the attack hitting that matters.
It's a 5, so no.
5. All right.
So I try and
so
like
it
grab
jumps,
its ankle.
Yeah, it basically just jumps away. And for the first time, you're confronted with how absolutely insufferable you are and how absolutely cocky your smirk is, as it gives that exact same expression that you've given so often to almost everybody you meet. How should I know? I'm you. It, however... Yes? All right. However, it turns around. It seems strangely distracted, if that makes sense. Like, you usually have some idea of what you want to do. This one is basically, I want to talk, I want to fight, I want to run. And now it's running away again. It seems to ascend and then move to the right, and the gravity seems to shift around it as it just walks along one of the other millions of mirrors.
Okay. I don't have time for this. I'm going to push myself up off of the weird ground. I can still see myself.
You can see yourself, yes.
Great. I'm going to cast sleep on me.
Perfect. Can you please give me a spellcasting abilities check? So that would be your. Oh, you're casting with Constitution. If I. Actually, no. Sorry, I'm talking complete bullshit. Please tell me what the fuck you're casting with.
It goes with. I think I had to go with charisma, right? Or dragon mark.
From your dragon mark.
The dragon mark. It's been a while since I used this.
It's fine.
Aberrant dragon mark. I actually don't have this in my D&D Beyond sheet. Of course, it's in my Roll20 one. Sorry,
It's fine.
I'm slow. I hate that. Okay, here we go. Okay. Thanks. I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
I'm so sorry.
How dare you?
Info.
Aberrant dragon mark.
Yeah, it's just I rolled to see hit points. It's Constitution.
Yes.
Okay.
Constitution is your spellcasting ability.
Thank you, Raven.
Thank you.
While that's happening, Eva, if somebody donates, please tell me, so that I can distribute 1d6 of inspiration among you. I would have done a lot more if you could have just told me. You know, I can give incentives.
Oh, that's so sweet. Okay.
So, donate it right now to give these bumblefucks some fighting chance.
We do absolutely need all the help we can get.
You do need all the help you can get. So, Sahir, that would be a Constitution check plus your proficiency modifier, please.
Come on, low. Yes. Plus my proficiency. Or my con save is 2, so that gives 9. I rolled a 9.
A 9, all right. So, you send out that spell, and it's almost like you're trying to track yourself as you kind of seem to flicker from mirror to mirror to surface to mirror to surface, and you kind of try to retrace the path that your counterpart tried to take, and your magic zooms after it, but at a certain point it's just out of range despite being blatantly, obviously directly in front of you. It just fizzles out.
Roll my eyes. Well, okay. We're just gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way, and I will spend the last of my turn to draw a bow that I have as well. If we can't do magic, we're just gonna shoot it. I hope.
It will turn around and mimic the exact same movements you just did, and send its magic towards you. That might. One moment. That's 5. No! So the magic almost reaches you. You can feel your eyelids getting heavy. But there's just this small part left where it can't bridge it, and it is not enough to reach you, unfortunately. It kind of stomps upon the ground. Damn it.
That's not very becoming of you.
Yeah, well, you can go fuck yourself.
Okay. I'm gonna shoot it.
Okay, that is resolute. Give me an attack roll, please. You were muted. You are still muted.
That's a 14.
A 14. I believe that does hit your AC. So
Barely.
it tries to dodge away, but the arrow catches it in its shoulder. That counts as the first success, as it seems to fizzle a bit and then bleed this silvery liquid out from its shoulder, and you can see it looking at the arrow, and then that's not. It waves it away like fog, and the arrow vanishes.
I flash the same smug smirk at it, and I just say, "Stop running and come talk to me, or I'm just gonna keep peppering you."
I don't want to talk, I want to play. And with that, it turns around and sprints off. That is a dex save. Ooh, you're good at dex saves. It manages to traverse the weird surroundings in a way that it manages to get quite a ways away from you. Both of you have one success now.
Okay, I'll chase it and try and keep up, I guess. Nonsense.
My apologies, my audio is breaking up. It is, you can't trust it, really. Somebody say something?
I said, I will chase after it.
Ah, perfect. That is a dexterity saving throw, please.
That would be an 8.
So, you don't get gripped by the same vertigo, but you just don't manage to make as much headway as your double did, as you're at every turn confused by this weird realm of reflections and twisting pathways. You can see its form like a Fata Morgana flimmering in the distance, but you're just not quick enough to catch it. It will attempt to do just the same thing again. Oh, good. That's a natural one. So, nothing changes really, as it just doesn't get away from you, but you also don't get closer to it.
It's like we're both running and just not gaining
Yeah.
any distance or going
The
anywhere.
world, you do see it is very much in the same way proficient at navigating this world as you are. It doesn't seem to really know what the fuck is going on. It just seems to be a bit... It carries your face, but it doesn't really have your personality.
Obviously. I'm infinitely nicer to talk to. Keep chasing after it. I don't really have too much else I'm gonna do other than just try and close that gap.
All right.
Imaginary gap.
That is another dexterity saving throw, please.
Okay, that's an 18.
An 18, that is your second success, and you now do manage to catch up to this creature. You're kind of above it now, all of a sudden, like diagonally above it. And it looks back, and you can see there's almost a kind of fear in its eyes, but it's a playful fear. It will pull out a bow and try to shoot you, which it does. So the arrow strikes you. You feel this weird phantom pain, but as you look down, the arrow also disintegrates. You, however, do bleed red blood. Which, considering everything, that's something to be examined later.
It's a little bit of color to this drab existence right now. Why the hell are you shooting me?
Because I like you.
I'm gonna jump down to try and tackle it if I'm above it.
That's good. Give me an athletics check. I believe that would be. Also, you can give me
athletics check?
Yeah, unless you want to make it an unarmed attack.
Could I just make it an unarmed strike? Because
absolutely,
I like that better.
So you just jump and
that's going to be a 17 total.
17, that does hit. You manage to pin it beneath you, and you do manage to grab both of its arms kind of to stop it from struggling. It's weirdly cold to the touch, and it seems to almost flimmer in front of your eyes, almost ethereally so. However, as you do tackle it with your third success, the fight kind of goes out of its body, and it just looks a bit defeated. Oh, God damn it.
I'm kind of shaking it. Tell me what this place is, tell me what you are, and tell me how to get out of here.
I am your reflection. I do not know what this place is, but I do know that one of us can leave it, not the other. I was going to do it, but the game ends.
Yes, it
Slumps
does.
Back to the ground.
If I let you go, are you going to try and take my place again?
Only one of us can get out.
Well, then I guess it's only going to be me. And I'm just going to start pummeling this thing in the face.
All right. So you kind of raise your fists and down on it, and you see the silver liquid splatter all across the floor. That isn't a floor. But it just grins. And you see you're tremendously hurting it. There's pain in its eyes. But every wound, much like the arrow, just turns to dust. The dust washes off, and it is pristine again. It grins, and for the first time you can see its sharp looking teeth and the 4 characteristic fangs as it looks at you. That's not how we're doing it anymore. Come on. You know what to do.
Do I?
Yes.
Question.
Yes.
Am I hungry?
Tremendously so.
Does it seem to make sense to me to... Well, it seems to make sense to me, so maybe it makes sense to Sahir. I'm gonna bite myself.
That's a sentence. So, you bare your fangs and plunge them into the neck of your counterpart. There's this broken sound, like a mirror shattering, this... And your fingers slip as there's nothing to hold anymore. You can feel something coating your mouth, the same silvery liquid. But there's only one thing left to do. Do you drink?
Well, I got this far, so sure.
Right. So you take a big gulp. Then you stand up again. The world realigns itself. We see Sahir, their eyes kind of glazy for a second, almost like reflective surfaces. You take a first step, surer than before, surer than both your reflection and you before. And the world rights itself around you. The mirrors stop being miracles and weird phenomenons and become possibilities to traverse. However, for now, the weird clarity that you have makes you sink back into the ground. You let yourself fall, almost like swimming on your back in a pool. You emerge from the dresser room, from the vanity mirror on the dresser. The mirror ripples, and the weird clarity vanishes as you fall onto one half of a bed, the other one being currently clawed upon by zombies.
Scramble backwards. What? I look around. The other 2 are in the room here.
You just saw Sahir fall out of a mirror.
What? What's that?
Hi. I have no clue. Oh, I'm assuming we should probably be going, and I look to the door. We're all
Yeah.
here.
Waiting on you.
Why are you... Wait, were you seriously just standing here waiting for me? You didn't even know where I was, did you?
I mean, you were in here, then you were gone. I mean...
And you just... How long was I gone?
30 seconds?
Not very long.
At the most?
Yeah. You didn't come to the roof, so we came back for you. We blocked the stairs, and then you fell out of the... Were you in the mirror?
Let's... Okay. Tuck and run, and I'll roll off the bed. Let's get the hell out of here.
All right. All of you scramble up towards the roof, where you can see left and to the left and right of this building are other buildings. In the distance, there's even you can see a path to what seems to be an apartment building that might give you some vantage. To the right, however, there is the path to Lady Moira. No, not Moira. Oleander Morbe. My apologies. So. Would like to go to the left, where you to the right, where you possibly could get a better idea of what's going on, plan your route, or would you go to the right, where your target is?
I think we should plan our route.
Do we really have the time to orient a map and figure out where we're going, or are we doing this on the fly?
I think it's probably better not to charge in with all this. They're gonna gesture at the swirling mass of undead.
Wouldn't want to fall right now.
No. Look, we don't all have to go. One of us could scamper out, do a quick look-see, come back. Or...
GM,
Yes.
does it sound like the door is breaking behind us? Does it sound like
Oh,
we
the
have
door
time
is
to do
already
reconnaissance?
broken. The only
Yes,
thing that's keeping the zombies back is your blockade.
Yes. You understand what I meant.
I know. You know, it's almost not a question if they can move it, it's the question of how long they will take to do it. At this point, there has been no body inside that is mostly complete to do so. However, it's only a matter of time until they break through. Now, climbing onto the balcony is another feat they would probably need to pile up. You do have a few minutes, perhaps.
Is there anything... What side of the building did we come out on? Like, can we see the front? Is there an alley?
You can walk around the roof, no problem. As I said, there's a small dome in the middle, decorative purposes, but it's not a problem walking around there. The front of the shop is crowded by zombies, as is the street in which it stands. So your only options would be to jump. At the back of the shop, there is another small, well, not another small, it's almost a small courtyard before there are other houses. It seems like a living area. So you can't jump there unless you want to jump into a sea of zombies, which, I won't stop you, but I will question your decisions.
Is there... So going to our target is one direction off the roof, and scoping things out is another?
Correct.
Okay. I would like to conjure up a very delicate mage hand. Even has like a little ruff of lace at the wrist before it disappears into nothing.
That's delightfully creepy.
And I will pick up something, what is it, 10 pounds? Something with heft from either the ground, the street, or if I can see into like the front of the broken shop. I'm sure there's stuff strewn around.
You can see in front of the shop there is one of the arcane lamps that has been smashed to the ground. You can see a few parts of that lying around. There's a quite hefty lantern-like contraption there that you could use.
Perfect. My purpose was I just want to chuck it, essentially, and create some noise away from the side that we're going to be escaping from.
Okay, good idea.
Thanks. So I will.
So which side are you going?
Very, very quickly, what did you say the gap between the roofs is? Between each house?
It seems to be about 10 feet, maybe. You will probably make it across with your various means. If you do not enhance yourself on a spell work, there is also what seems to be a small fire escape, which you could use to stretch across. You could improvise, well, not a bridge per se, but a jumping off point. That's not the problem. Sticking the landing will be the problem, as the other roofs are just a bit more slanted. You have to keep your balance to not fall into the crowds below.
10 feet is within, assuming any No one among us has less than 10 strength. 10 feet is easy.
Easy's not quite the right word.
Easy to jump.
Let's not get back into this conversation. It is is possible, yes.
Yes. Once again, the jump isn't the problem. The landing is.
Oh, never mind. No. No.
Everyone goes to quickly look at their stats.
I had a really good idea. That is a really terrible idea if I hadn't read the description super well. So.
I guess, are we running? We're going to jump?
Well, we have to jump, but I think the question is, it doesn't make sense for all of us to risk ourselves to get the lay of the land, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, who's doing that?
Who's in front?
I mean, it doesn't. It's a.
I do have a familiar who I have still not yet named. God.
I think it would behoove
and
us.
I can do this. I'm going to expend one of my uses of wild shape, change it from a climbing fey creature to a flying fey creature. And
What
so
is the
its
flying
little
fey
arms
creature?
turn into little bird-like wings.
That's adorable. Kind of flutters around you.
It gets used to them, flutters around me, and then
Probably looks a bit confused at the first second. Just,
yes, and then yep, that's 30 feet flying. 30 feet dark vision, so whichever direction we want to scout, we can now go and scout.
Alright.
And I send it up and out to kind of get the lay of the surrounding rooftops. Maybe.
I imagine that's just the constant thing now. It just moves around, tries to keep you
Yes.
away from the biggest crowds of zombies, just scouting out which roofs you can traverse, where you can move along the land without any problems, that kind of thing. That will massively reduce the DC of any danger. However, the more time you take, the higher it's going to get, since more zombies are getting in. Since a lot of people died in these canals. Like, oh my goodness, just a lot of people.
It's an easy way to dispose of bodies, too.
It is. So cost
Awfully
effective.
convenient.
Alright. So, with the...
Shall we be off?
Please, let's.
With the vantage point taken care of, I presume you go towards your target?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright. So, I would like acrobatics checks, please, or athletics, depending on the kind of jump you would like to undertake. No, there's nothing else I want to say.
Yes. I'm gonna go with athletics.
Alright.
Because
So,
I don't
Broden's
think
first.
Broden is particularly nimble. 16 total.
16, alright. So, Broden, you kind of flex your muscles for a bit and then take a sprint and just stomp onto the other side of the onto the other building after a very large jump. You kind of have a moment where you're not quite sure if you're going to lose your balance, but you kind of manage to plant your hooves into the roof almost and regain it. Broden has made it safely across.
Mercy also got 16 for acrobatics
All right. So you kind of use a bit more refined method, shall we call it, as you kind of walk toward the fire escape and then kind of manage to propel yourself towards the other fire escape. You manage to catch it and then move upwards on it to the other roof. There's no balance issue here. So here, you hear beneath you the barricade crash away and the zombies swarm the apartment.
Oh, great. In a manner similar to that which M has taken, I am going to carefully shimmy sham my way across the fire escape and leap across. I got a 21 on an acrobatics check.
All right.
Following
You
in the
show
same
off a bit.
path I saw her take.
All right.
But improving on it, apparently.
Yeah, you
Naturally.
this jump, you've got this. You kind of walk towards the fire escape, and you've got this feeling of, yeah, I've got this. Do you show off, or do you just, make it quick and efficient?
Make quick and efficient. There's
Oh,
no
so
time
just-
for showboating.
Jump across. There's always time for showboating, but you
No.
jump across,
Not right now, but yeah.
and all of you are on the other rooftop. There you can see there's a side street, and there are other rooftops that you can traverse in a similar manner. And at this point, we will leave this scene, so to speak, as the party manages to make their way across Sahani using various methods in this way. I basically just wanted to see if this first obstacle would be where you failed, or if you kind of got into the groove of things. So, how would you like to move? Would you like to conceal yourselves? Would you like to be quick, however noticeable? No, those are the only options. There's except you want to just move, like there's not a zombie apocalypse going on. Just there's a zombie
Nonchalantly
biting ours,
walking across the roof.
sometimes. All right.
Careful hustle, is that what we did last time?
That was also not one of the options provided.
Yes.
So
Has it appeared that obviously they can hear us. Is there does it appear that they're actively looking for things, or are they sound?
Give me either an insight or perception check, please. And while you do that, well, I do give you options like right or left, or would you like to conceal yourself or move past? You can always give another option that I haven't thought of. I'm just trying to give you some ways of accomplishing your goals.
Yes.
So please don't feel caged by the options I give you. There's always something else you can do. What's the check?
Got a 1.
1. No idea. Some who have eyes, as you move across the rooftops, kind of catch you in their side, and they kind of move shambling towards you, but then again they just kind of end up uselessly flailing at a wall, just some don't have eyes but still seem to detect you with some sense of theirs. You don't know if it's smell or hearing. I mean, some don't have ears, so it seems different for everybody. Mostly sound seems to be what alerted them previously. But your inquiry doesn't really yield any results.
I may have found a solution to the fact that Wren can't sneak.
Oh?
In the form of a wild shape that can.
Ooh.
If we do want to try and be sneaky about this, because as at least from Broden's perspective, the only thing that seems to alert them is sound. Make loud noises, attract zombies, kind of thing. Do we want to try and sneak it?
Look, I'm always good for a sneak, so whatever.
I don't think we want to draw down the horde on the ladies.
Yes, on the lady's estate.
Yeah.
On Lady Orleana's estate.
Yeah, we all know who we're talking about, so yeah. Sneaky it is.
Right. Rhoda will wild shape into a panther.
Ooh.
Nice.
Interesting. If I recall correctly, they can also pounce, can't they?
Yes, they can pounce, and they have a speed of 50 and a climb speed of 40,
Ooh.
and a significantly higher dexterity score.
Yes, that's a really good choice, as Brodain kind of manages to not only merge with the surroundings just via color, but also climb. The climbing is a big one. So, Brodain, you may give me a stealth check with advantage. The rest of you, unfortunately, only a usual stealth check. However, Panther is a very good choice in this particular occasion.
That's a new one. Did you know that they could do that?
No. No. Is that's something I wish I could do.
So
Thinks very, very hard about turning into a panther. And looks vaguely surprised when she doesn't pull it off.
So I rolled a 2 and a 5 respectively. So with the panther's stealth bonus, that is an 11 total.
Oh my god.
I was worried about.
Apparently I need to crack out the calculator. I thought this was cut and dry, but no. Alright, 11 from Broden. So here.
I rolled a 1, so I have a 6.
This is... Okay.
I'm not taking these zombies seriously, apparently.
What's a zombie to a vampire?
Well, what's a zombie to Sahir?
Yeah.
Really?
Please save the party. What is your stealth check?
Well, I had a 17, but now I kind of want to add my d6.
Do you want to do it?
I would love. Please let me do it.
Yes.
So that would make it a dirty 20.
Okay. Let's just see what that is. Okay. Can somebody please roll me a d8?
Okay.
One of you needs to do mute.
4.
4.
Sorry, I was busy making dolphin noises in chat.
Interesting. That is a worthwhile cause. So, you have made your way towards the estate of Lady Morbe, or Lady Oleana Morbe. You've done this very carefully. Broden's still getting used to their panther form, sometimes just awkwardly bumping into things and Sahir. And all of you kind of... You're not in your best form, except for M, who is a ghost, apparently. Sometimes you just snatch the other two Scooby-Doo style before they're seen and or heard by the zombies. You press yourself against the bricks as the hordes pass, and you don't dare to breathe until they're gone. But then when the area is clear, you all three manage to crawl across the street, kind of hide yourself behind boxes, all that. It's a very, very stressful hour, and it is an hour. So Broden, by the end of it, your wild shape begins to wear off. However, you still have approximately 10 minutes. It is in this time frame that... what's your passive perceptions, please? 10.
15.
12.
15. You, Broden, as the panther, hear it first. You're currently in a small alleyway to one of the biggest streets in Cleargarden. And you're currently pressed behind a few boxes as zombies kind of move, not having detected you throughout the street. There's approximately 10 of them, 10, 11, something like that, a dozen maybe. So all three of you are just kind of waiting for them to move forwards to cross the street, as the estate is quite close to here. You can almost see it, actually. When you, Broden, hear something that is not the usual snarling and smashing of things or the occasional panicked scream in the distance. The first thing you would hear is a very distant the whistling is coming closer. Every now and then it stops, and you hear this wrenching sound, this and upon that one of the sources of the snarling, the zombies, stop. But there's never the sound of a fight. It is still quite a ways away, maybe 1 or 2 blocks, and it's only due to your panther senses that you can even hear it. However, it is coming your direction. Not quickly so, you're positive it hasn't detected you unless it's doing so magically, but it's coming closer.
By way of alerting the other members of the party, the Pantheran form of Broden is going to, like, perk their ears up and try and look around corners as if they and like turning their head as if they can hear something that is unusual.
What is it, Kitty? Is Timmy in the well?
Is that a reference to something?
Mercy will look in that general direction carefully.
All right,
I'm
give me a
also
perception
actively
check,
looking.
please. Yes. All of you who want to and have been alerted by Broden can give me a perception check.
10.
Oh no.
That is a 6 total.
Oh, that's great. That's the 10 from
15.
him.
She's stressed.
Roll 1 plus 5.
15.
15 from Sahir, and from M that's a
10.
10. All right. So, Sahir, you were kind of hanging back a bit, still processing the absolute weirdness that happened right now. But your heightened senses do not fail you this time, as M and Broden both... well, M is looking around the wrong corner, actually, into the wrong direction. Broden, I believe you're kind of just gently trying to either signal that the other corners where the danger is at, or even kind of biting at her sleeve, kind of get them to just look at the other one. When Sahir, the same noises reach you, that same whistling and the occasional... and you are able to tell quite accurately that it is coming towards you and coming around the corner any second now.
Okay. I'll draw my weapon and I'll call to M. Check your other side. Someone's coming. And it sounds like they might be good at killing. So, pruning? Cutting. Disposing of zombies.
M will just nod back because trying to be sneaky. And I guess hide further in the planters, wherever they are.
Alright, so you are attempting to hide. Please give me a stealth check. As hiding from zombies is very much a different thing to hiding from anything which has, control of its senses. Anybody who would like to do so, please also give me a stealth check.
Bless.
18.
18. Okay, so the panther actually manages to merge with the shadows at this particular point in time.
Nat 20 for 22.
My god, and M is right behind the panther. He's just crouched behind the box, so perfectly concealed that nobody can see you. So here, are you hiding or
No.
no? So you're just standing in the alleyway,
Yeah.
concealed from the zombies, but not anybody who can add.
May
more than
actually
one.
be looking, yeah.
Yeah. So I would say it is actually Sahir. They are the first one to see this figure. Passing the corner, accompanied by this in a very nonchalant, stepping way, comes a figure that you first mistake for a member of the Night Guard due to this weird, shadowy trench coat thing that they seem to be wearing. That is made of the same midnight silk as the Night Guard's thing, Night Guard's outfit. However, a coat isn't usually what they're wearing. It's more of a uniform, really, and they don't have one of the characteristic batons. This person is an almost unassuming looking human with short brown hair and rectangular glasses, shirts, trousers, and boots in very muted colors. Kind of like a brownish grey ensemble thingy, not very fashionable. And the trench coat is loosely tied, loosely worn over that. They do not have a weapon as far as you can see, but the zombies around them seem to be parting, just unknowingly so, even. They do not seem to seem to realize that M and the Panther are there. However, they do walk along the street and look at you, Sahir, who's just. How are you standing there? Are you leaning, standing? What's the deal?
Definitely leaning up against a wall, kind of in the shadows ish, but not hiding. So just to get a good vantage point out of the alleyway there.
So I imagine there's like this arcane light at the edge, and the sum of the light just kind of falls across half your face, and the other half is hidden in shadows, kind of like dramatically leaning. Right. The figure moves towards the middle of the street when the whistling abruptly stops as they spot you. They do a bit of a double take, as somebody just casually leaning against a wall in a zombie apocalypse is not something they're used to seeing. And then they give a small wave. Oh, but hello. I did not imagine anybody else would be here.
Yeah, same here. Out for a leisurely stroll?
You could say that, yes. I'm a collector of sorts. So speaking of, 1 minute, please. They turn around and kind of crook their index finger, and one of the zombies strolls towards them. They almost gingerly grab the chin, and then with a yank off the head. A wonderful piece. Open the trench coat and put the head in the trench coat, where it then vanishes, seemingly leaving no trace. I thought maybe the opportunity presented to me, I should use it.
You're a headhunter?
Not just heads, all kinds of parts. Well, I wish you the most loveliest of nights. I have somewhere to be.
Enjoy the harvest.
Thank you very much. Goodbye. And they begin. There's one zombie that gets a bit too close, and their hand snatches one of the ribs. And the zombie crumples to the ground. They round the corner and are not seen again. The whistling, after a while, subsides. You are once again alone.
That was absolutely bizarre.
It's definitely a necromancer of some description.
Was that the bone collector?
You know, that would make sense.
Be really creepy if it wasn't. Entirely possible, but I feel like we should bookmark that for later.
Agreed.
Well, there's a positive to this, as the figure actually managed to part the zombies enough that you can dart across the street. So you kind of collect your thoughts after that somewhat gruesome display and manage to walk across the now gore-littered street, or rather dart across, towards the estate of Lady Oleana Morbey. Now, it's a bit early, but I would like to go into break regardless, as this strikes me as a good moment in time. So I will just describe for 1 second the estate, and then we will leave off and come back. You do manage to arrive. The estate is a villa, but nothing even approaching the mansion of the Denouls. It's almost like a small apartment complex, a very modern, futuristic-looking building made of stone. Parts of it actual concrete, which is a thing that exists but is quite costly, though very good for building, as you might know. It's a steel, glass, and concrete thing that looks more like an art project than an actual house. A tower, perhaps, some kind of crossbreed between a tower and a mansion. There is no garden. Instead, there is an iron rod fence around what seems to be spiraling pathways made of concrete in an almost mandala-like fashion. The gate is obviously closed. And other than the Denouls, there is no obvious sign of life here, so the zombies are just occasionally passing by. One of them perhaps is sticking its arm through one of the iron gates just due to it being in its path, but there's not a lot going on here. The fence is also not very high, so you're able to easily climb over, Broden maybe with a bit of help, but you manage to
Am I not still a panther?
Oh, yes, you're still... No, you wouldn't be, as 10 minutes would have passed by
Okay.
then. Good point, but no, you're not still a panther. So, all of you managed to set foot on this weird... It is a stone garden, but not in a way that you usually think of a stone garden being a stone garden. That is where we will get back to after this break. Goodbye. And welcome back, everybody, to me frantically pulling up the PDFs I'm going to need. We left off as you just... Raven is actually scaring me right now. As we... Oh wow, that is an evil look. We left off as you invaded the estate of Lady Oleana Morbey, an arcanist ? Whom you hoped to question about everything. Probably about everything. We left
Ask
off
questions about relationships with other druids or people of power that could be useful in contesting this zombie invasion.
everything. We left off in this weird stone garden that seems equal parts natural stone and concrete, with the pathways made mostly out of concrete. So it's one smooth way, after one smooth way, after one smooth way, all kind of spiraling in a twisting pattern towards the center of the grounds. You're currently standing on one of them. You do see there is a front door. It's a double door, seems to be made from metal. No windows.
I think Broden would just go up and knock.
Right. Do you leave the path, or do you just walk around this unnecessarily spiraling pathway?
No, follow the path, obviously.
All right. I'm just asking.
Obviously.
Obviously. You give three big knocks, which seem to make a very loud noise, like disproportionately loud. And for a second, you ask yourself if maybe the zombies heard that. Looking over your shoulder, one or two seem to have noticed and are currently shambling towards the iron gate, but they will probably hold strong. This part of the district isn't crowded as the others were. More importantly, you hear footsteps behind the door, and there's a small pause, and then there's the sound of unnecessarily elaborate mechanism being unlocked or used, and the doors both slide into the wall. There is a room behind it, a room made completely of concrete, rectangular and about 10 by 10 feet, completely barren. Behind that, another set of the same looking doors.
And the person who opened the door?
There's nobody in the room.
Did I not hear footsteps?
You did hear footsteps.
Can I perceive the darkness?
I would say it's actually illuminated by what seems to be one of the arcade lamps, white neon light.
That was me saying, can I perceive the area around me to see if I can find the
Oh,
person?
sorry. Yeah, I didn't know if the darkness was important to you or not. Yes, please give me a perception check.
I mean, I don't have dark vision, so if it was dark, I wouldn't be able to see anyway. Hey, that's 18. Finally,
18.
good roll.
As far as you can tell, there's nobody in that room. Maybe invisible?
Unseen servant?
Maybe?
It seems
I guess
like a welcome to me.
since they opened the door for us,
I'm just gonna.
Wren will go in.
Yeah.
Alright, so you confidently stride into the room. The others?
Actually, M was prepared to just like barrel in, but with Broden leading the way, they're going to like hesitate like a half step and just see if anything happens to them, and then follow.
Rodan steps in. There's this dramatic pause where everybody's waiting for some hidden mechanism to come into effect, but
Suddenly the door
second
slams
passes.
shut as I step across the threshold, crushing.
oh god! Nothing happens. You just enter the room. There's no reaction seen from the house.
I would like to make a point of this now, so it doesn't have to be brought up later. I am still making a concerted effort to perform leaning on the cane as if I need it. Walking stick.
Alright.
That is my spell focus.
Okay. You see nothing happening to Broden.
Oh yeah, then just keeps
Alright.
going.
Sahir, do you follow or do you?
Yeah, after M goes in, satisfied that nothing sinister seems to be happening, I will follow in at a slow pace behind. I've still got my rapier drawn because, you know, these are trying times and
Indeed.
can never be
So-
too careful.
You enter the room, and everybody waits for something to happen, I imagine, but about half a minute later, nothing has happened. The door hasn't slammed shut, the other one hasn't opened. Nobody has greeted you yet.
Makes you wonder if anyone's home.
I definitely heard footsteps to open the door.
I mean, that could be anything. Really.
I would suspect that there's at least someone here. After all, why would you let strangers into your house? Bar.
I can think of a few reasons that I don't particularly care for, but let's think good thoughts, I guess.
Look for like a general foyer, like a waiting room.
Yeah.
Foyer.
Yeah, I mean, a place to sit would be nice, and
A narthex, get you the old-fashioned words today. For lobby,
yes.
sitting.
Yes. Well, currently you have a very limited space to search. It's
Are there
just
any
one
other
room.
doors?
Well, yes, there's
The
another
inner
set of
set.
double doors, as I described before, but they haven't opened.
We'll
They are
knock.
the same kind of metal doors.
Does it look like they just go out to the other side of the garden? Or something?
Well, no, they do
something?
go into the building.
Okay. Just
It's just a weird corridor.
Well,
a
it's
weird corridor.
no, it's like a castle gate. What do you call that? Portcullis?
Portcullis?
Yeah. It's like a mudroom, but for rich people.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah. Well, that's normally where you put boiling oil into your. Ooh, I
Yeah,
like
so let's knock on the door before we get
Yes,
murder house.
and hope that murder holes don't open.
Yeah.
that. So,
I.e. holes for archers to shoot at us.
there are no obvious holes.
Murder slits.
No murder slits.
Em's just gonna knock on the
Thank you. There is a voice that fades in with almost like a crackling static. You hear a woman's voice. Hello? Who's there?
Oh.
Just player to player. Should I lead? Should I answer?
I mean, Em knocked. So I think she would just
answer immediately.
yeah, just
Okay.
but like with surprise, like she didn't really expect I don't know what she expected, but it wasn't that. So she's gonna it's Mercy. It's M.
Very poetic.
Broden.
You want me? You're gesturing at me.
Please.
I am the Lord Bernard Denul of the House Sif, and these are my associates.
The crackle filters in once again. Very well, Mercy and Bernard Denul. What brings you here to my small house?
But how do I want to phrase this? I reach for particular persons beyond my own circle, who may
Speak
be of
plainly,
Druid help.
Lord.
They want druid help. We want druid help, please, and thank you.
Good. This politeness of yours is tiring. But you, Mercy, you are refreshing. I suppose you may enter, all of you. Behind you, the door slams closed, and the door in front of you comes open. There you see a very weird-looking foyer where You can see half-finished artworks on the walls, all made of concrete. It has a very rustic feeling, but if somebody used minor materials, inexpensive and cheap materials to create high-quality art, this is very much probably what you would expect from a member of the House of Art. However, it is less pretentious than both Broden and M remember this house usually to be. It's just pleasant. There's none of the weird philosophical art thought thingy going on that those people usually have. Speaking from M's perspective, there's no of the deeper meaning behind any of the artwork that the House of Morbay likes to gift to other houses. This is just plainly somebody sculpting for aesthetics. There are two staircases, two stairs, kind of leading onto one balcony, as is almost traditional at this point. And to your left, you find a what seems to be a garderobe of some sort. However, before you can hang up your jackets or anything, the owner, you would know this, of the house comes strolling down, which is very unusual. Lady Morbay, Lady Oleana Morbay, is quite eccentric looking. She's a drow, seemingly quite old, with braided hair of green and black colour. We're not talking the classy emerald green, we're talking neon green, black, kind of patterned, almost punk-like. And her eyes, however, are this deep green that clashes horribly with it, but kind of makes this weirdly harmonious picture. Her clothes also reflect the neon green, emerald green checkered pattern. It creates this almost weaving optical illusion like effect as she walks down the stairs, her arms extended in a very almost ironic looking greeting. And once again, other houses have found their way into my sanctum. Lord Denul, and you seem somewhat familiar. Mercy. And, ooh. Are you perhaps a street rat? She looks at Sahir.
I prefer alleyway savant, and I will sheathe my rapier back into its scabbard.
Ah. Good. Please follow my lead. This house can be very confusing for those who don't know it. You
You've
already
seen
said what you
one
need
fancy
from me.
mansion, you've seen them all.
Oh, you haven't seen this one, I assure you. It might just swallow you whole. Pardon the bad joke. Oh, follow me now. She turns around and walks up the stairs.
Mercy does not hesitate.
Good. You are led to an unassuming-looking room with furniture, very normal furniture. There's a chair, there's a small table, there's on the table a tea set with still steaming water. There's a servant standing in the corner. There's, however, one unusual property of this room, as everything is made of concrete. There's a window, but it's made of concrete. You cannot see through it. The servant is made of concrete. They're not moving. The tea is also made of concrete, and so is the smoke. It is a scene which you would usually see, but captured in concrete. And she doesn't pull up a chair, but basically just kind of wiggles into it and sits down at the table. So, you are looking for druids. I'm not quite sure why you are coming to me with that. I'm as far away from a druid as you can be.
when I questioned my mother about the persons that I need to reach, yours
Remind
was
me,
the
young
first
lord,
and
who's
only
your
name.
mother again?
She just interrupts you.
The exact pronunciation. Lady Orwell Denul.
Ah. She's the angry one. Yes, I know your mother. Perhaps I even know her favour too. Do you want to let me know why you need druids, or should I just list a few off and be done with it?
It's the plant zombies outside.
Yes, I've noticed. Quite disturbing. Have they done
I
anything
have-
about it yet?
I have a solution to those creatures,
Really?
but it requires more power than I can muster.
She leans forward and on both her hands and looks you in the eye.
Now you've got me interested. A solution, you say? What is it?
To a certain extent, druids can enforce their own will over that of nature.
Yes.
If we have sufficient power, we can overwrite the will of an entire organism, such as the plants outside. With a sufficient number of druids working in alignment with one another, we should be able to drive them from the isle and into the sea.
Well, you would be doing something about it, I suppose. Now, I've no idea about druids, and I don't know any. Well, I possibly do know some, but no idea. But I'm going to get somebody who does know. So take a seat. I would offer you some tea, but the cups seem to have fused to the table, so...
Mercy just plops down on the nearest open concrete chair.
It's very uncomfortable.
She's loving this. This is like... She looks almost happy for like the first time in a long time. Like this is just so weird and delightful. She's just very happy to be here.
Oh, that's great. She begins to leave the room, but then kind of on the door, on the doorstep, she kind of hovers. Her foot hovers, and she turns around abruptly to Sahir.
So... weird question, but... do you mind if I take some of the fabric you're wearing? Just a smidge, just a small bit.
Excuse me?
You heard me.
Right, no, I did, but I'm saying excuse me because what the hell kind of
you're
question is
offended,
that?
okay. It's a weird one.
Yes. And I'm starting to feel like that's characteristic for you.
Slandering tongues have described me as such, yes. Honestly, I just like your jacket.
Yeah, okay. And I'll use a dagger to cut a scrap off of... I'm imagining there's like a leather or a strap like on the wrist or on like the waist of my jacket, and I'm just going to cut off a strap of that and toss it over.
She catches it Thank you. And then turns to sit back down on one of the vacant chairs. Her foot on kind of like her knee, her other knee. Hands the patch, slowly turns this emerald neon greenish thing, and she pulls out a needle and thread and begins to sew it onto her clothes. And with this weird action, you can actually see her clothes are made of dozens and dozens of patches. But she kind of weaves them into it that it doesn't really register at the first glance or even the third glance. But once she's done, she stands up and takes a very sarcastic bow. Well, thank you, Lord of the Streets. I'm going to get you your druids now. And she turns. Oh, and don't leave the room. The door closes.
That was
Why does everyone have to say don't leave the room when they leave strangers unattended in their place?
every time. That was masterfully done, though. Did you see that?
Swapper.
Yes?
Just out of curiosity, could I use mold earth to like shift some of the stone arrangements, the concrete arrangements in
Specifically,
here?
no. Mold earth, rocks, yes, but concrete is not one of the things you can shape. That's a different cantrip.
I can't just like rotate the servant ever so slightly.
Unfortunately, not. That's a very specific thing. Like concrete was probably especially used so that couldn't happen.
Of course it was.
As I said, it is actually quite expensive despite being so rudimentary.
It is made of limestone.
Yeah. All right. Is there any conversation happening while she's gone? Or?
M's just going to wander around and like inspect all the figures in the art and like not touch anything. Just like absolutely looking like they're in a gallery. Except for the whole like probably sitting back down on the chair and stuff.
Yeah.
Rodan is probably just holding and rubbing their now, I suppose, cat bird satyr familiar instead of cat monkey.
Is it kind of cold around your shoulders?
I was thinking at this particular moment, just laying across Rodan's forearm.
Oh, more of a
against
James
their
Bond
chest.
moment, yeah.
And just
I avoid this photo.
rubbing the feline head.
Imagine it begins to purr. See?
Rodan, I kind of stand a pace or two behind your chair. What do you know about this? And I kind of look around at the furniture and the rest of the room. A bizarre person that we've come to ask for help.
Good question. What I, the player, know is that they are eccentric. They like to cut portions off of people's clothing. Just like randomly passing down the street, just like, hey, can I have a piece of your clothing? Kind of thing. Does Broden know any more about the person?
Not really.
Yeah.
I believe we already established that Mercy knew more than you, and
Yes.
both of you didn't really know a lot.
Yes. I think Broden would say, I know that Lady Orleana is one of the more eccentric members of the house, Morbe.
Yeah, no kidding. Do you trust her house? Or her? That silence is so reassuring.
I just collecting my thoughts. I personally believe that they are no less trustworthy than any of the other houses.
So not at all. Got it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say they are untrustworthy.
that's a wide swath.
And of this particular individual, I think as long as you can entertain them, you have no reason to mistrust them.
Okay. Here's a fun question to follow up with. How much do you trust M and me?
Em looks up at this question, very interested in the answer.
That's a good question. Considerably more than I would trust most people.
I just nod my head slowly. Okay. Don't
I
really
have
say
faith in
anything.
you. I trust that you have faith in me.
Not to get into character roles, does Broden seem straightforward with that answer?
Yes, more so than they are when they're speaking to
Anyone else?
other nobles.
Okay. Okay.
They do not appear to be playing the game at this particular conversation.
And I'll say, apart from like their servants and people they've been with their entire life, Em and Sahir probably know Broden quite a bit quite a bit more than most people do. So Broden is quite good at what they do, but at this point you would be theoretically able to call that some bullshit. Not all bullshit. There's always some bullshit, but some of it.
They are a cowman person.
All right, so rocks fall and no,
Concrete falls.
concrete falls.
Concrete
Sorry. Yes, of course. No, nothing like that happens. Instead, the doors open, revealing another eccentric-looking individual, but not the same eccentric-looking individual as this eccentric-looking individual. Broden, you raise your eyebrow probably, or at least give some sign of surprise, as this completely blindsides you. This individual is known as Amanda Carlyle. She is a tattoo artist and was involved in a smaller scandal regarding the House of Sif some years ago due to an inappropriate tattoo. She's not in noble circles, but she was a renowned artist until then. Apparently, somebody from the House of Sif said something about somebody of the House of Morbe, well, Carlyle didn't like that. So when the person who sassed Morbe came up and asked for a tattoo, well, tattoos in this world are a very, very painful process, so sometimes you do go under anesthetics, or even narcotics. So when they woke up, they found out, oh, that's not the tattoo I asked for. Yeah, that was the last time a noble went to her. That was last you also heard of her. You kind of assumed somebody murdered her, to be quite honest. Just like, yeah, that sounds about appropriate. You do know it wasn't your mother, the ungrateful client, but somebody within Sif, and not really, not a low-ranking person either. So having her stroll through the door is a bit of a did not expect that one moment.
She's not familiar to me, though, is she?
She would be, yes. That was quite a big... it was a gossip story. That
Was she
was
my tattoo
the gossip story.
artist, though?
Is she?
She could be. I feel like I enjoy her vibe. Like, that seems like...
Oh, yeah. Let me describe her. So, Amanda Carlyle is a large elf with a buzz cut and fiery red hair. Currently, she's wearing a tank top, which sports the letters Shatter, which you know is a band, probably only Mercy and or Sahir would know that, as it's quite a trashy underground band, basically. And almost every inch of her skin is tattooed with the weirdest tattoos, ranging from like your traditional flaming skull to some kind of floral arrangement in one very large, very confounding picture that you don't quite know what it's supposed to mean, but it's nice to look at. And yeah, I would believe Mercy and her would probably get along fairly well. You wouldn't have heard of her in quite a few years. But if you want to know her, you can. All right. So she enters, and the doors kind of slam open. You just hear, "I heard somebody was looking for druids, motherfuckers." Right.
That's exactly who we're looking for.
Well, you just found one. She moves her head, and one of the concrete chairs slides back, and she kind of drapes herself across it. What do you need druids for? Some kind of weird purging of the city, yes?
So to speak.
All right.
Oh.
Kind of waiting for a bit more information, yeah?
Plant zombies.
Yes, I heard the gist, but what exactly are you going to do? What's the ritual going to involve? That kind of thing.
I think Broden could reach into their coat pocket and pull out one of the seeds that they've brought with them. And toss the vial to Amanda.
I presume that's one of the seeds?
Yes.
From the plant?
One of the originals.
Puts it back in the vial. Throws it towards you. Alright, I don't quite get the plan. You have a component, yes?
I
A very
planted
nice component.
8 of them in my own garden. Sometime before round about 32 of them managed to find their way into the canals.
Right. That's
As
presumably
they
where
are
you
of
got
the
the
same,
seeds.
as they are of the same stock. Druidic magic can be used to influence the plants. I imagine that it may be possible for enough druids of sufficient strength of character and will to be able to manipulate them, force them out into the sea.
So you want to just put power in the seed and hope that all the other seeds are also influenced by that, yes?
They do share some form of magical connection. At least all 8 of the ones that I planted some time ago. I imagine that all of the original stock share this connection.
Right. I'm gonna level with you here. That does not sound like a solid plan. That sounds more like a shot in the dark. Have you talked to anybody about this? Any experts? Yes, anybody who has any idea what to do with a large amount of arcane power and the like? So we have a ritual set up. Do we have a space? Do you have words? Or are you just hoping that something might happen?
I have been experimenting with my own harvest, and I lift up the Fey Spirit in my hand.
That is adorable.
It is
The spirit, not your experimenting.
malleable to the will of the druids who has attuned to it. Receptive to some form of manipulation.
Yes, I understand what you're trying to do. I'm just informing you of the fact that only trying to do it is not going to cut it, mate. To do these things, you need more than just a vague idea. You need the correct
Plan.
words, you need the authorization, you need a plan. Yes, correct.
Well, that's
Not really a person for rituals myself, but you can't just put 5 druids together, pump spell slots into. Oh, sorry, that's metagaming. Pump spells into it, and then hope that you can achieve some kind of otherworldly connection. Unless you have a spell, you're gonna have to craft some kind of ritual.
but that's part of why we're collecting other people who are knowledgeable about this, so that more heads are better than one. And if there isn't a spell already known, craft something together.
That's the spirit, yes. Alright, so I misunderstood. I did not know you didn't just want 5 druids on the place and kind of hoping. So, druids is the right way to go, I think. So you've got 1 now. 2, maybe? 1 of you? You? Yeah, you. Unfortunately, alright, raise your hand if you have any idea of advanced arcane procedures. I thought so.
I didn't understand a word you just said.
Do we have
Raise your
I
hand
was
if
thinking that.
any knowledge of advanced arcane procedures? I have done some reading. I would not say I am skilled.
Alright.
I tend to open the door and allow the magic to work through.
That's such a bad idea.
That is such a bad idea.
It's worked
She
so far.
stands up and actually slams her hands on the table and then sits back down. How? Good gods, you have no idea what you're doing, do you? That may
Not
work for
everything.
you. You're trying to combine elements of the city, the plants, the connected flesh, and everything else, and try to just channel it to one avenue. I have no idea what you're doing, but it is not going to work.
Not with that attitude.
No.
Given the
not
state
with
of
any
things,
attitude.
I don't know if it is working out so well.
She looks at Aruno as if she could actually see anything out of the window. Alright, here's what we're going to do. I am going to call my wife back, and then we will make a plan, and then I'm going to send you to the university to collect a few people who actually have an idea what the fuck is going on. And work out a magical ritual that is not just opening a door and letting the magic do its thing. Last time magic did its thing, the Black Ocean existed. That's not a good
And
thing.
now we have an opportunity to correct that.
You want to correct the Black Ocean?
I feel like that's...
That is why I created this plant.
Wait.
You created that plant?
Wait.
What?
Back up, Broden.
How far?
Look, we've had a busy couple of months. Sahir, correct me.
Remember when you first found me?
In the sewer, yes.
What do you think I was there doing?
Sightseeing, what else?
I was working with the cults.
Working with, we knew.
You didn't realize the extent of my work.
I feel like deduction was not really how we were supposed to get there. Sort of a... There's so many opportunities to just say, ah, yes, this plant that I created.
Just to get this clear, this is all your fault, yes?
Not entirely. There were other agents that twisted.
Okay, so this is mostly your fault.
Yes, there were other agents that twisted it. They wanted to raise an army under their control.
M tries to pick up one of the teacups, like to do something with her hands, forgetting that it's like concrete. And then it's just like an awkward letting go of it.
She notices that, snaps her hand, and the teacup detaches from the table.
So her hands like jerk up with this, I presume,
Just,
still concrete teacup.
yeah. There's also concrete tea in it.
Fantastic.
There's a small concrete smoke curl.
I love that. I guess it'd be more like
You
this.
can understand the significance of the event should it be successful.
Oh yes, for one would... A lot of Sahandi would just fall back onto the ground, as we are kind of floating on the ocean right now. We're talking about destroying the Black Ocean, right? That was what you wanted to accomplish.
No,
Oh, then
I'm talking
basically-
about illuminating it.
Ooh, pretty.
I believe that there should be a balance between the light and the dark. And the dark down here is overwhelming. And I've also come to the understanding that this would help to alleviate the control over the travel across the sea. Such an event could hardly be considered insignificant in the politics of Sahani.
I realize this is sort of going off in the weeds, but I'm still a little stuck. How did you get from bioluminescence to plant zombies?
Probably open the door and let the magic do its thing.
No, that was before I could properly weave. No, it was more individuals that had more time to devote to the process, having their way with my work. Twisting it, and then failure to stop them from deploying it. The seeds of themselves are incredibly powerful.
I just need you to know this has earned an underline in my notes. Oh,
And as I said, they are very malleable to the whims of those who work with them.
Alright.
They can achieve potentially anything conceivable within the boundaries of nature.
They are raising the dead right now.
Yes.
That might
And
be a
right now
problem.
there is no will controlling them. There is no driving force
that,
behind them. They are acting as plants would. They are self-propagating.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
I believe you are wrong. I am not a druid that works with a lot of plants, but I do work with concrete and stone and steel. I am a part of the city, and the city is currently infected by something foreign, by blue death snaking through its flesh. That is not just a plant. That is an entity. And it has a goal. It is searching towards the Obsidian Palace, bit by bit. Was that also something you foresaw? or something somebody else did with your work?
Or did you say they're assaulting the Obsidian Palace?
Yes.
So, as in they're all gathering. Isn't the Obsidian Palace on its own island?
It is.
I mean, the water doesn't seem to bother them.
Yeah. No, it wouldn't. It could be a little bit of both. I knew that I would gain the attention of the Night Queen. After all, who else benefits from keeping the world in isolation, keeping Sahani in isolation, keeping absolute control over the passage beyond the sea, the world above. And I have a personal history
Sorry.
that I would very
This
much
is
like to avenge.
very nice, but
But
I
it is
can't
also
tell you how much I
very
do not
likely that
care.
those... What?
I do not
I care?
care for your politics. I do not care for the Night Queen, I do not care for any noble besides my wife. The thing is, currently, the city is being overrun and killed by a foreign entity. The city is what I care for. So, if you want my help in fixing this, I can help you fixing it. If you don't, then you can get
do.
out. Good. Deal with the fallout however you wish. But, if you want to fix this, this is going to be a process that is far more intricate than your or my magic, really. And I do believe the first step is knowing what your plant is. Our magic has a tendency of being quite overwhelming. And yet we think ourselves shepherds of it. We think we can channel it, control it. Or at least that it won't harm us. Have you experimented on these plants, or have you just taken them for granted?
I have experimented on them.
Well, do you know and understand everything about them?
On some instinctual level.
Really? Then how are they raising the dead? Are they consuming the flesh?
Can I answer
Yes.
that question after a dice roll?
Yes, absolutely. President's just getting grilled here.
What kind of check? Wisdom Arcana?
I believe it would be a the
Wisdom
nature arcana, I suppose.
Ooh.
It's an interesting.
Yeah,
Give
can I
me
make
both
a-
a nature and an arcana check, as these are both elements that come into play. Also, somebody is trying to attempt to shout in my window, and I don't know why.
How mysterious.
And do you want that just to be flat intelligence, or do you want, since I did mention
Nature and arcana, just that.
saying?
Oh, sorry, you said intelligence, and my brain got confused.
Yes. Because this is more instinct than I'm trying to describe what it is that Rodin feels rather than what they think.
Ah. Then I would suppose it's inside, really.
Inside.
It's not really a spellcasting check, as you're not currently using magic to
Yeah.
kind of examine the seed. You did that before, I believe. This is more what you can glean from what you know, what it feels like. That's my reasoning behind the insight.
Dirty 20.
All right.
That's a 17 plus 3.
All right. What exactly do you want to know? Yes, it's the high numbers where you get to ask the
Experimentate-
questions.
So when Broden was experimenting with them, they were trying to figure out how to to control them, how to wield them, how to use them in conjunction with their own abilities, how to things like of that nature, and um, what they could be used to do, and to what extent what the cost would be on them physically, magically, mentally.
So you kind of look over all of your experiments, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe you've questioned or people have questioned so far exactly how this came to, what exactly the mechanics of everything is. You speculate, but not really thought about it. And so you kind of align all of your experiments, kind of try to suss out any elements of it, try to suss out the behavior, try to suss out how the magic works, how the nature elements connect with it. It does take a while, so it's just a very awkward silence whilst you try to
Compile the
yeah,
information.
just a Sherlock Holmes moment of that, but in a weird droidy way. You are right. The seeds are incredibly malleable. They bend to your will almost instinctively. You perhaps subconsciously wished for power. Perhaps there was something in you that wanted to connect to plants more. Perhaps there was something that longed for a step towards your goal, and it gave you magic. And so far, you have not had any negative consequences beside an unsettling dream that might have as well been just a manifestation of your subconscious. Then again, it is raising the dead, and if what this druid has told you is correct, it has a purpose. It bloomed, it is animating the dead. And while that is possible, one moment, please.
Just
Well-
as it's getting to the meat.
While that is possible, yes, my family is determined to make this dramatic. While that is possible, it doesn't feel like something those seeds would do. You're kind of thinking about that weird paradox. When it comes to perhaps not those seeds, but your seeds, the ones you used, they were in contact with you. You planted them. You kind of expressed your magic and expectations upon them. Those that fell into the canal, while from the same batch, did not come into contact with you.
They were taken from my body.
What? Well,
They
yes.
were taken
but
from my body.
They were in the vial. And you didn't really impress any magic upon them, or anything, really. You didn't change them.
Mhm.
So, while the ones you had might be acting out your purpose, or what you made them to be, the ones that are currently rampaging around the city might be the original ones. There's a difference, you presume, between the full-grown flowers and their seeds, and the seeds you had. The seeds can be changed. Subconsciously so. Maybe there's a way to change them more precisely. You didn't really look into that.
Mhm.
But the ones that are currently out have one purpose. What that purpose is, you've no idea. If you wanted to change those, that's where your train of thought basically stops. Because if the seeds are what's changeable, well,
Mhm.
that train is kind of already gone. The flowers bloomed.
Rather than repeating all of that, I'm just going to say
Yes.
Broden explains their thoughts on what they have experienced and their experimentation, and states that they still have a good number of the seeds is as seeds.
Alright. So not everything's lost then. But there might have to be a change of plans. Plans. Plan. Pardon me.
There is always hope. Success. What do you think we should do?
I have no idea. But I can only repeat myself. The two of us are really not people who deal with concrete plans in our magics. We need people who do that. They have ideas, we have the power to do it. So,
I guess next stop. I'm gonna ask this question. I don't expect Amanda Carlisle to have the answer, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. And Broden doesn't expect Amanda
Alright.
to have the answer.
now I'm
Do you happen to
intrigued.
know anything about finding a certain Mora Sif by any chance?
Mora Sif. Not. I mean, I have a few ideas on how to do it, but they would need time and the city not fucked up.
Damn. That was a long shot anyway. So I guess my next move should be to reach the university.
Well, they are educated there. My
Where
accent is slipping.
where I can find more, shall we say, intelligent individuals, more studied in arcane, and
That feels very offensive for some reason.
Specialized, I think, is the word you're
Yes.
looking for.
Academically inclined.
Also, they may have their own problems at the moment. But
they do also have a demon,
The devil, I think.
which is a
but
risk. Professor of Demonology is
Yeah.
some form of infernal.
I mean,
Would probably be offended if they were here right now, if they are a devil.
yeah, you're on a roll,
Probably,
Broden.
yes.
Yes.
She kind of, for the first time since entering the room, she kind of looks at Mercy. There's this narrowing of the eyes, like, do I know you?
Yes. Don't want to talk about it. Lovely to see you again, though.
Alright.
Yeah.
I can get you to the university if you want to.
I think we want to, right?
Yes.
So here?
Yes.
I have no idea what's there though, so I might just plonk you down in like a horde of zombies.
Could we not do it that way?
I can send you to the library and plonk you down with an angry librarian.
There is a central courtyard. Do you think you could plunk us down there?
Well, that was the horde of zombies option. As I said, I don't know if there's a horde of zombies there
I
or not.
don't think they would have been able to get inside just yet.
Fair enough. So I...
Professor of Demonology is an impressive specimen.
You do you, buddy. Right. That was a very weird sentence.
Crazy.
I can bring you there. I can also come myself. I can bring Orleana with me. What do you want? We both don't really have anything to do.
Would you prefer to stay here, or would you prefer to
I
risk?
do not give a
We
shit.
would appreciate your help. Thank you.
We would appreciate your assistance.
Oh. Alright. Because I will phone if things get hairy, I will probably just leave.
That's
But
Fair enough.
I will assist you in some ways. Let's not involve Oleana in that. She gets a bit cranky. Also, she's probably doing some weird art stuff.
fair.
Alright, shall we?
I'm ready.
I think it's up to you to lead the way.
Mercy sets down
Unless-
the concrete tee, like before she forgets.
You hear the of new concrete kind of forming around it. Alright. This might be a bit disconcerting. Well, don't fear, just follow me. She opens the door. Behind the door there is a street. It is lit by arcane lights and is completely devoid of life. There are large towering buildings, monolithic skyscrapers, huts of metal and glass, in a weird landscape that is not Sahani, but definitely a city.
Welcome to the jungle. The concrete jungle.
Yes. She begins to walk. Do you follow?
Yeah.
Alright. So, following closely behind her. Around you, the buildings seem to shift and warp, distort as you walk. Each step seems to carry you a larger distance than it should, and you walk through mazes of alleyways and streets, cobblestone, concrete, asphalt even. A weird alien city, lights and darkness playing with each other, until, with one last step that sounds resolutely on the, this time, tiled floor, you stand in the center of the University Plaza. It is a large building with a domed building in the center of it, and kind of like a Greek temple style arrangement of buildings around it. The iron fence that surrounds it is completely black, and currently, I would like a. Actually, no, that's probably quite easy to see as you kind of move towards the university. You just see this mechanically huge figure, like a scaled lizard creature, just flashing through crowds of zombies, and so it's a gore fest right there. But they seem to be enjoying themselves as you, Broden, see the professor in a slightly different capacity than they normally are. There's a weird distortion as all of you have witnessed the city being attacked and people running away, screaming, people being torn apart, actually crying and despair in the streets. And there's this weird disparity as you see teenagers and kind of younger adults with the occasional older person just standing in the courtyard, some of them pointing towards the demon or devil, whatever it is. They're not taking pictures with their smartphones, but that is probably only because they have a lack of smartphones. It's very much the, oh look, there's a catastrophe happening, oh cool! This spoiled rich kid energy from every single one of them. Like, this catastrophe cannot touch them, and they know it. Amanda stops and turns around. That was quite a walk.
Quite the walk.
Thanks for that. That helped immensely.
Yes. I can't do that again today, though.
Understandable.
I've never been here before, actually. At least not in person.
I'm gonna ask this because I'm pretty sure you told us about this, Roden. Didn't you have a... Who did you talk to about the seeds before? Do you think they might...
That's why I'm going through my notes, because I definitely talked to a professor of agriculture of some description.
Yeah. I mean, they might, if they're not...
Definitely gonna try and find that person.
Yes.
Can't remember which session that was in.
Do you want me to look it up?
I don't remember, and I don't think that was the visit where M went also. I think that was just strictly the library.
Yeah, that was prior to that.
Yeah.
We'll just look
That
through
feels like
my
a session
notes.
5.
Yep. Is this a physical notes thing? Might be a physical notes thing.
Specific name. No, I wrote it down somewhere.
Elijah Brandon?
What?
Elijah Brandon?
Sure.
That's a name I have here. I'm just going to... Let's just pretend that was his name all along.
Emily.
Emily?
Professor Emily. Emmelie.
I'm going to be quite honest with you here.
Session 3. This is fine. Found my notes. Don't worry, audience. This is all part of a normal D&D game. Reading through
Professor
notes.
Emily
making-
Barton.
Jazz hands. Oh, yeah. That was definitely it.
Emily Barton. All right.
Emily Barton.
So, do you seek out her?
Yes.
That was a weird
The
sentence.
person I spoke
structure.
to before.
All right. You move across the campus, which is quite easy as there's literally just an excited crowd standing there in the midst of the apocalypse. No students. And seek out Professor Emily Barton. Now, it does take a bit of time until you manage to find the corresponding office. But you... One moment, please. Okay, yeah. Broden, there's one thing that you, who has not been in this particular branch of the building previously, from the campus plaza towards the thing, usually you walk from your classes towards this, that you notice. One of the door plates on one of the adjacent offices notes a Dr. Hannah Vermeer, who you recognize as being a lesser member of the House Idonna. But the far more important thing is every member of the faculty has like their specialty in a small plate, so that students know what the fuck to talk to them about if they need it. This one has something that interests you. Bioluminescent magical plants. It's a very
That
specific
is
field.
an oddly specific professor to have suddenly appeared.
Well, it's the door, but all of them are quite weirdly specific. There's also, for example, a Dr. Jill Claude from the House of Kenneth, who is a leading researcher in fast-acting toxins.
Do they all
I
happen to
can
be
go on.
like convening for a group meeting at this point?
No.
It seems like all of them apply.
No. Well, you do know that Dr. Claude is the head researcher of magical toxins in the Dome, so he is probably not currently in his office, as he's in the Dome.
How do you spell Claude?
Claude. I don't know why I wanted to get an O in there. Claude. Claude.
Thank you.
Claude. I'll just call him Jill. Right. So, do you knock on Dr. Barton's, Professor Barton's door? Everybody's
Yes.
a doctor now.
Yes. Yes, I do.
The person who opens is Dr. Barton, this elderly human, I believe. I cannot find my notes currently, but she's a human now. Had some weird biology shit done. Hello. Is it... Oh, it's you.
Indeed. Things have moved.
I need to talk to you right
Yeah,
now.
I need to talk to you too.
Yes. I believe there is a very strange connection. Maybe you can explain this to me. There's a very strange connection between all the happenings outside and the very specific questions you asked me.
Yeah, Broden. Maybe there is.
Yes.
Give me one reason why I should not immediately go to the authorities.
I didn't do this.
Oh, how convincing.
I'm also working on a solution, and I don't have resources, the arcane understanding, or the raw magical power to enact it.
There's a very specific facial expression that people use when they're just so incredibly done with everything that's happening right now. It's this... And that is the exact same expression that creeps across her face right now. And there's about 5 seconds where you're pretty sure she's either about to run off to just hand you over, tell you to fuck off, or shoot either you or herself. But the moment passes. All right, come in. She turns around and just sinks into her office chair behind her desk. Who are your companions, by the way?
Hi, I'm Em.
Friends. This is M. This is Sahir. They are probably the reason why I'm not the nexus of all of this.
Oh, perfect. My name is Emily, Professor Barton. I wish I would meet you under better circumstances. So,
We were transferring some of the seeds to a more secure location when we were attacked. Some of them were stolen and ended up in the canal. I would be willing to reckon that either they got loose of their own accord, or as I have recently discovered, more likely been discovered by a malevolent arcane entity in the waters, which is now controlling them and using them to attack the Obsidian Palace directly. You're muted.
I am not. I am gasping for air. So you're telling me this is not only a disaster, this is a targeted disaster designed to... well, yes. You know what it's designed to do. Alright. How do we counteract this?
The seeds, and I present one of them that I have on me,
She almost physically recalls.
are incredibly malleable, magically. With the right ritual, they could be used, and enough of the seeds, we could potentially counteract those that have already been lost.
Alright, so like a...
Require spell.
This is too magic for me. I'm a biology person. I'm going to get somebody who has an idea of what's going on. Or well, will have an idea of what's going on once we fill them in.
By the way, is Amanda Carlisle tagging along with us, or
Yeah, she just awkwardly leans in the door.
is she standing out in the hall?
No, she's in the door frame, blocking the view for everybody. Much less effective than a door would, but you know.
Yes.
It's the thought that counts. Wow. She turns around and goes to get somebody in a weirdly deja vu moment that you had almost 2 times already. And to complete it, she turns around. Do not move out of this room. And then goes. Closes the door behind her, kind of... Carlisle is being awkwardly shoved into the room and just the door locks. And then audibly is locked behind you.
As if that lock could hold.
Yes.
Again.
Against 2 druids, a sorcerer, and a rogue.
Yep.
Anyway.
Is there anything interesting to look at in this office?
Would you like to make an
I
investigation?
would love to.
Imagine that there would be bookshelves.
I mean,
Well,
bold
yes,
of you to
definitely.
assume that's... Ooh, of course, natural 20 on something that doesn't really matter. Love that for me. Investigation, so that's a 21.
All right. With a 24-1, you find... Unfortunately, I do have to devalue that 21 a bit because you find a lot of very interesting-looking books that you have no idea what to do with. This is a biology professor's office, which a lot of people come into over the day. There's not a lot of valuable stuff around. You do find... seems to be like a small collection of almost sticky note-like reminders. Things like retrieve book from student's name, or go to and ask about that and that. Yes, I'm currently just filling in weird phrases to not have to think of anything. M, however, with the 21, you are quick enough to hear the footsteps approaching to kind of get everything back in the right order and then just innocently stand as the door opens.
Perfect.
And both Professor Barton and another person, a seemingly male lizard folk with kind of red-greenish scales and what seems to be like round spectacles and a almost woolen coat, enter. This is Professor Silas Varfeld. They are far more advanced in the magical field as I... Well, yes, thank you. Particularly in the field of arcane theory, and that seems like something that you need right now. Now, the problem was explained on the way here. You seem to have some kind of zombie infestation, yes?
Not intentionally.
Yes, of course. And you want to get rid of it, yes?
Yes.
All right. Do you have a part of the infestation, or a part of, in this case, I would call it the sickness?
I hold up the seed and I say, I have the source.
Oh, even better. So what I was going to suggest would require either the sacrifice of a human virgin or a lot of blood, but thankfully you have a source. Those old-timey hag rituals are a bit disturbing, I know. But thankfully, far smarter people than hags, who are not very well known for their smarts, have crafted a ritual that is able to cleanse sickness from a land. Usually that sickness is more like a plague, but perhaps we can configure things to make it fit a zombie invasion. That is, and he looks over to Professor Bryce, who kind of looks at him awkwardly. Happening outside, you say, yes? Yes, it is happening outside. You should look out of your window sometimes. Well, that's overrated. So, we are going to need a book from the library, which I thankfully brought. Because frankly, making you go there would be a bit unnecessary from a storytelling perspective. I mean, what I'm telling. He gets out a book that is incredibly old-looking. Like, he handles it like it's a cheap magazine, but it is clearly a thick-spined, gold-inlaid ancient tome, which he just slams down on the table and cracks open. However, there seems to be some kind of spell on the book as it carefully opens, even despite the movement obviously not in any way fitting the care of the book that it is opened with. It is called The Ritual of the Clan's Land, and we're going to need a few things. First of all, we need one individual who's connected to a deity of nature, a personified belief that nature is a thing. I believe Jamandra is the local god, yes? He looks to, once again, to Emily, who just, yes, he is the god that we all know exists. Yes. So, one follower who has been granted magical powers by Jamandra. We are, any deity of nature will suffice. I presume if you're not that into this Jamandra fellow, you can use another one. At this point, you hear Ellie kind of just blasphemy. And even Amanda's looking a bit perturbed. You can just use another one. Any nature deity is fine. We are going to need one caster of old blood, so that would probably in this case mean one of the noble houses, the 13, direct descendants. Yes?
Thus far, I seem to fit your every requirement.
Oh! You worship a deity of nature?
To a certain extent, yes.
What is that deity?
Andra.
Out of curiosity, do we really want this to hinge on a certain extent?
I'm not a cleric by any means.
Perhaps.
Or a paladin.
Maybe we could.
Well, you would need... are you an arcane or divine spellcaster?
How would you categorize a druid?
Arcane. I do have a table for this, I know, I'm sorry. Yes, unfortunately, only a divine spellcaster would be able to fill that particular role, but don't worry, we'll find one around. Seem to be lurking under every rock, probably. Well, yes. But if you are an arcane caster who's connected to nature, that kind of thing, yes? Turn into animals?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. We need one of you as well. Are you a direct descendant? So do you carry one of the great house's names?
I'm gonna tap on the horn, but I'm gonna go ahead and say no. I'm of the house Denul.
That's not one of the 13 houses last time I checked. It's not, right? No.
No.
Good. So we're going to need one of those. Arcane caster as well. It would be fitting that criteria. And last but not least, we do need an arcane caster to conduct the entire ritual, since things are going to get quite difficult.
Would yourself qualify?
I am not a spellcaster. I'm an arcane theorist. Please.
Isn't that all a spellcaster is?
Well, No, you do need some inciting form of magic, either in your veins, or you need to bother to learn all those spells, really. I'm far more interested in theory of how they work and how they interact with the different magical fields around.
Oh, okay. So you need talent to cast magic. Got it.
Oh, go and fuck yourself.
Out of
He didn't say
curiosity,
that.
Wait.
out of curiosity, does this ritual require a certain level of power? Does it require a spellcaster of a particular order?
Let me check my notes on this particular ritual. Uh, bu- 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 bu.
Mechanically
Well-
speaking, is this a 9th level spell?
No, you will not need a certain power of spell. It is more the skill with which the spell is channeled. And I do see that it is not necessarily a spell. There is a...
Look, I've been doing a lot of reading.
It's component-based.
I could help with this. Maybe.
Oh, good. Are you an arcane caster?
95% sure.
All right. Well, how
Is
do you
Em still
come
wearing
to-
mage armor?
Yeah. She's baby.
How did you...
Yes.
I will not change his question. He will stare at the mage armor, a spell I believe only arcane casters can cast, and ask, "Are you an arcane caster?" He knows a lot about spell work. He has no idea about spells. Well, I'm going to say sorcerer, perhaps. Anyway, yes, you would fit the criteria. Are you strong-willed enough to be able to handle a lot of different input and be able to direct it towards the ritual's purpose?
Baby, you've got no idea. Yes.
How many
Who is she
spells have
talking
you
to?
cast? And can you count it on one hand?
That wasn't the question, Broden.
Me? Oh, sure.
That was my question.
We can do this. This is fine. We can also always keep our eye out for...
I'm sure we can scrounge up enough people around this university to cast the ritual.
All right. Well,
Be a
We
shit.
do still need a religious zealot and a noble house member. So...
well, yes.
No,
And most
It would have been
importantly,
awfully convenient to bring Morbe with
I
us.
I should inform you before you run off that this is incredibly risky. This ritual has not been attempted since 300 years ago when a member of the great house of Kadesh obliterated itself and took all of the bloodline with them. Which is probably why you have never heard of it. It was actually one of the great 15 houses, with only 13 remaining to this date.
So be very careful.
I'm going to go ahead and say it would have been awfully convenient for us to have brought Lady Orleana with us.
I mean, it's not like we're doing it right now.
You can go and get her if you want to.
Was that
Yeah, that was
Amanda?
Amanda, yes, thank you. I just can't do that exact same thing again. I can get her, no problem. I just can't teleport you through half of the city. It will take me about half an hour. Also, she can teleport me through half of the city. Multiple times,
I
actually.
don't suppose she follows a nature god.
Oh no, she does not.
Ha.
She's an arcane caster.
So that would be great, and we could probably pull the university. Maybe we could ask, I don't know, we could start with Dr. Vermeer, just for kicks.
What exactly? Help, we've become one person. What exactly do you want to ask the good doctor? Because he's currently on the dome, which might pose a bit of a
I
problem.
thought that was Dr.
as far
Claude.
as reachability goes. Well, no, him too.
Oh, all of them.
Yeah, well, yes, it doesn't make sense for them to be around all the time.
No.
They're rather specialised, and the lectures we need them for, we just
Sure.
get them over.
I mean, we're just at this point looking for a follower of a nature.
You could try the holy houses.
That's
Sorry, that would be Amanda, not him.
that seems like a good idea. Let's do that. Perhaps while we wait for Lady Morbray. Is that it? Is that all we need?
That's about it, yes.
Are you
Well, you need also...
space?
there is a very small chance that the ritual might produce uninvited spectres and the like, so you could need some protection of the more mundane variety. A dude with a shield, probably. Or a knife, I suppose.
And I
Depends on your
didn't
kind
bring
of
my
protection.
bodyguard.
All right.
I was gonna say let's just be wild and get someone with a shield and a knife.
Yes. May I request that I am privy to this ritual, as I am most interested in the process itself?
You seem to be the one that knows
The most
anything
about
about it, so please,
Well,
please join
theoretically,
us.
so yes. I will. Have you ever drawn a ritual cycle, one of you? All right, I should definitely be present at the ritual. Good, that we made that clear. Well,
ritually cast spell.
but have you drawn runes and ritual cycles?
You know,
and
I think it's just best if you're there.
measured
Yeah.
degrees of.
Yeah.
All right.
Can follow
I will
instructions.
prepare everything in one of the basement ritual chambers.
Perfect. Great. Love this for us.
This is a very awkward situation. I will go get my work now.
Thank you. Were they introduced to us? Was he introduced to us?
Who?
The lizard folk. Delightful.
Yes, that was Professor. God, so many professors.
Silas Barfold?
Silas of Arfeld, yes.
Perfect.
All right. So, everybody goes off doing their things, and I believe you have a new destination. Unless, of course, you want to scrounge around for a divine cast over nature god here.
Ooh, I'm gonna go ahead and say holy houses are a better shot than a university to find the devout.
Fair enough.
Would there be like? I feel like somewhere in the university, and of course this is an extreme circumstance, so I don't know the likelihood, but there must be a way of like sending messages from point A, like an arcane courier of some sort.
Yes, also known as every second student here.
Yes.
Yeah, anyone who can send the spell sending.
Well,
Yes.
no.
Oh, well, not every second. Sending is a third level spell, but like every 20th, every...
Also, like,
A few people...
yeah.
Yeah. You can just give somebody like
ask them,
5 silver
"Hey, could you
and tell them,
summon-"
hey...
Yeah.
Ask them, do you happen to know of a... Can you cast this spell, and do you know a cleric of this deity?
Yeah, I think it's much more worth it to
Easier to do that.
than to brave the city at this point. And easier to just craft like a 25 word.
Yep. Out of all of you, I believe both Broden and Sahir would actually be the ones who are most likely to come into contact with the most well-known cleric of the Healing Grove which is Jumandra's church in the Holy Houses. This individual is named Karen Blackbird, a drow shaman of some sort, or rather cleric, I suppose. Broden, you would know them due to your extensive search for all kinds of druids. Having determined he's not an actual druid, but instead something different, you would have, I believe, noticed his existence and then went on with your search. And so here, you know that this is an individual who sometimes goes by some of the gondolier hotspots, hot points, and tends to wounds, infections, illnesses, and the like, due to being a member of the Healing Grove. These people are basically walking doctors, walking magical doctors, who see it as their duty to erase pain and suffering. In not the weirdly evil way that it just sounded in my sentence. I will erase pain and suffering. Yes, I will make it go away. It is quite easy to send a message, and it's a very good call. I'm so proud of you. I was like, so we're coming to the end of the session. Let's hope they can just get the people to them and not just walk to the holy houses with another random encounter or all that, because that would kind of blow the note. But no, you sent a lot of people. Once again, know Karen Blackbird. He's a very prominent figure. He's a very well-known figure, and he's often consulted for the more divine questions that the university might have, which is a very small branch of this university. But much like languages and arts, it is a thing that is taught here. It's just this university is mostly arcane shit, since arcane shit is on the rise, so to speak. So. The first person to come back would be the stranger, Karen Blackbird, who is a drow with these kind brown eyes, brown mohawk, and you can see a very traditional-looking wooden staff with these nature carvings inside of it, and a very green robe with the symbol of Jamandra, this growing tree, embroidered onto it. It looks very simple, but practical. And he comes closer as he emerges out of a tree in the courtyard. Broden, you have there's a moment where you're just reminded of everything, but the moment fades. There's no attack, but just a nod towards Broden. So here, you might have seen him, but he probably wouldn't have noticed you, unless, of course, you say differently. So just a nod towards Broden. I was called in to deal with this strange malady. Is that right?
I think for the sake of expediency, Broden would just exposit everything between what...
Everything?
Well, not everything, but not
the ritual
their involvement,
particulars.
but about the ritual.
Just here's the solution that we found with no connection to the causation of the problem whatsoever. Yeah. He's a very mellow fella. He doesn't show a lot of surprise. He just nods, does what he needs to do. The next two people would be Amanda and Oleana, who come back, and there's this weird desert air effect as they kind of come out of nothingness into existence behind them. You can see cobblestone pathways and that weird walkway again. They seem to have bypassed the gate somehow. You also explained them. Well, no, you wouldn't, as Amanda would have probably just told that on the way. Walk and talk. So, in the underground ritual chamber, you prepare the ritual. I believe that's a good moment to leave off and start next session, as I did believe we had another 15 minutes, but I was wrong, and I'm very sorry for that. You can scream at me on screen. I am very bad with time. So, let's do our sign-offs really quickly. I am so sorry. Oh, never mind, God has forgiven me. So,
Hi, I'll go first.
Good.
Hi, I'm Wren. Today I played Sahir, who had a great time fighting their mirror self and then just making faces at all of this nonsensical magical bullshit everyone's talking about. When I'm not here on alternating Saturdays, you can find me on my own Twitch channel, Thorny Dryad. You can also find me on Twitter at the same handle. I do variety streaming and some charity streaming as well. So yeah, whatever. I'm also a voice of a character in a podcast called Roads Uncharted. Go ahead and give us a listen on any of your favorite platforms that provide podcasts for your listening pleasure. So my favorite part about today is there was a lot of words, a lot of great great stuff. I enjoyed when Amanda called me street rat, and I said, no, I'm an alleyway savant. And just like that dry exchange was fun for me, that contemptuous back and forth. So
Hi, I'm Raven. I've been playing Rodin. You can find me here on Twitch at unanimous2. My favorite moment from today's session was going to be, no, I'm an alleyway savant. But I think I'm going to have to go a little bit further back in time and say, you know what you have to do? Bear's fangs. That whole moment and the descriptions of that was phenomenal.
Is it me? I always feel like I go last because it's my channel, but I'm also not the GM, so I guess it's me. Hi, I'm Eva. This is my channel. I still haven't been kicked off yet somehow. You can find me here. I live here. This is my house. You will see me again today at 3 p.m. Pacific as part of the Nautical 5e campaign Horizons Call. And also just all over the place playing video games with no like real schedule and scheduling out some more one-shots. I am thrilled to say that we are now, absolutely part of Team SideQuest, and for all of May raising money for St. Jude. So that's a good time. My favorite moment was, gosh, I really enjoyed so much the description of Amanda Carlisle. I think I love her. And also Lady Morbray. I love them both. They are my new favorite power couple. And also the fact that they were willing to help us helped a lot. But yes, that is it for me.
So I'm last, since we already established that Eva's getting fired. Swapper, you can find me on Twitch under... not Twitch, Twitter, under @GreatSimplicity, as well as every second, alternating Saturday, I'm sorry. We can't say that anymore, can we? And nowhere else, which is a serious deficiency in my calendar. But anyway, my favourite moment today, there were so many good ones. I liked Sahir eating themselves, but I think I enjoyed a series of moments rather than a moment, which is just Broden just leading this solution search. We need to go there to that person, talk to them, and we had a very questy feeling, if you know what I mean. I kind of enjoyed that, as it's just, let's get to the bottom of this, shall we? in an unusual environment. I believe, unless we have anything else to do, I'm genuinely blanking. That was it.
That feels pretty solid.
Nobody's correcting me, so let's end.
No, you smashed it.
Favorite moments? Did Eva? you give favorite moments?
Well, favorite characters.
Yeah, the introduction of the Amanda and Lady Morbray. Yes, being couple goals.
Memo to yourself, we're about half an hour over what we usually do, and that's not a good idea for any of us.
No.
So, let's end this quickly before one of us explodes, actually. So, goodbye, everybody. And Eva, you're here in about a few hours, so
Yes.
come back then.
Enjoy. We're going to go send our love over to Mare, who is running their Invisible Sun games, so enjoy that. And yeah, we'll see you this afternoon.
Invisible Sun is amazing, go watch it.
Yes, do it. Bye, everyone. Take care of yourselves, love each other, and stay hydrated.
Goodbye.